Hello, guys. Welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Now, we've got a very special guest, and he holds a very dear place for us as he was one of our first ever guests. It's British flyweight champion, Super Tommy Frank. Tommy, how you doing?
I'm all right. Yep. Thanks for having me on, Josh. I wouldn't say I'm a special guest, but
Oh, no, in our eyes you are, mate. Yeah, you've done a lot for us, so it's always a pleasure to speak to you, mate. And we've had a lot of messages off people over the last few months and that. Obviously, when's Tommy coming back on? So for all those people, here you go. We'll get straight into this one, mate. Obviously, it's been a little while. It was 11 months, obviously. Well, by the time you're back in the ring in March since you last fought, and to be fair, you gave us one of the best interviews afterwards. Obviously, with what happened with the Craig Derbyshire fight. How frustrating has that been for you? Or we know you lived the life. Have you just took the positives out of it and stayed in the ring in the gym, to develop?
do you know what? Always taking positives out of it. I can't complain. I'm very blessed with what I'm doing, and just a massive thank you to my sponsors who keep me training full time. So I can't really complain, but it has been frustrating. It has been frustrating because I've never really, apart from COVID, which affected pretty much every boxer. I've never really had any time out the ring. I've always been really consistent with my fights. Most years like three, maybe even 4 fights a year. So I've always been active. So it has been frustrating. And I've kind of experienced the other side of boxing. A bit of politics and trying to get it on a show and stuff like that. Basically stuff that's out of my control. And although it has been a bit frustrating at times, I've just had to let it go because it is out of my control. So I've just done what I can do, and I've kept training, kept ticking over, and just tried to show a lot of patience. We hope that that's going to pay off, and it won't do.
No, perfect. I mean, well, we've got a date now, haven't we? March the 10th, and we'll get to talking a little bit more about the fight. But for everybody watching this now will probably know it's Jay Harris. And for me, and I know the guys, obviously they're not on here, but we were talking about this in our group chat, and we actually think it's one of the best fights that can be made at flyweight. Full stop. It's a great fight. Does that motivate you, this fight now, to sort of show the level that you're actually at, especially after like a frustrating sort of 10, 11, 12 months?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I'm looking at this fight at. And to be honest, a fight between me and Jay is something that it's always been appealing to me. I've heard loads of people say you and Jay Harris would make a great fight, and I 100% agree. I think our styles complement each other. I think we're quite similar in some ways. And I think we're quite similar, like outside the ring as well. Jay don't really shout his mouth on social media, and I don't do that. So we're probably similar in that way. But I just think that's going to make for a brilliant fight. And we've got a lot of respect for each other. I've always had respect for Jay, and then finally getting this fight. When it kept getting pushed back, I shared a few messages on Instagram with Jay. The respect's definitely there, but it's got all the makings for a brilliant, domestic British title fight. And now finally got a date over the line, March 10th at the iconic York Hall in London, which almost it's probably perfect, isn't it, for a domestic big British title fight. So where else could it be? York Hall, there's been some brilliant fights over the years there. So yeah, just very, very excited.
No, literally, that was my next point. Obviously, you're a northern lad from Sheffield, and we've talked about that before. But this is a great opportunity, isn't it? Because York Hall, I mean, for fighters, for boxing fans, it's just one of those venues that's got that special aura about it, isn't it? So to have a proper old school British title fight, and with all due respect to the British title, I would genuinely, and I know I'm not the only one to think this. I've seen a lot of it on social media. This fight is possibly bigger. It's two people at the absolute top of the division, and it's exciting. So, I suppose you've just answered it, but it has added to it then, I suppose, getting it on at York Hall.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's quite fitting, to be honest with you. You know, because York Hall's been a very historic, iconic venue. You know, and a lot of great fighters have fought there, and there's been some proper ding dongs at York Hall. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this fight's going to be the same. You know, I think it might be a great technical fight, or we might just knock lumps off each. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure it's going to be a great fight. You know, and like I said, I think the setting of York Hall really suits it, and it's just kind of. I actually boxed there once as an amateur, and it's a great venue. It's not the biggest place, but that kind of adds to the atmosphere. It's just like a bear pit, you know, with the balcony round, and you know, when it's fun, you know, it really generates like a thick atmosphere, and then we're banging centre of that. So yeah, very, very excited about that.
No, definitely, it does add to it. I mean, there was a lot of rumours. Obviously, social media was rife. Everyone was sort of expecting this fight to be put on a Matchroom and DAZN card, sort of in December. The one in Leeds, obviously, the Josh Warrington card. Can you just shed a little bit of light on that? Because obviously, I know there was a lot of fans of both you and Jay that were a little bit frustrated online. That obviously we were sort of waiting for the announcement. Obviously, you as fighters are going to be far more frustrated than fans are. But can you just shed a little bit of light on the sort of background behind that? What was going on?
Yeah, so you know, when the British Boxing Board made Jay my next challenger, where they actually made him the mandatory, you know, obviously a big fight, me versus Jay for the British title, and you know, we knew that, you know, that had potential of getting on a big show, so Dennis did his work, and he was speaking to Matchroom, and to be honest, it's been that long going. I can't remember exactly what happened, but basically, Matchroom said that they were going to have the fight, and then I think what happened I think like the whole Ben and Eubank, you know, that show getting called off, that basically just messed a lot of things up, and you know, Matchroom had their own fighters to reschedule on later cards. So basically, it just sounds like me and Jay lost our slot, basically, which ain't good, is it? But it is what it is. It is what it is, and you know, it's been frustrating for me. It's been frustrating for Dennis. You know, Dennis has been pulling his hair out. You know, and I want to thank Dennis for all his hard work. You know, because I know it's been like a long process. You know, and Jay's been in the same boat. So you know, they were so like I said, we were going to be on a Matchroom card. It's turned out that it's not, and then you know, in the end, I think just to get it over the line and make sure that the fight actually happens, Jay's manager Lee Eaton, he's picked up the fight, and he says that he'll promote it. So it's going to be on a Lee Eaton promotion shows, and it's landed in York Hall. So to be honest, we're just at this point, just getting a date and getting the fight on. That's kind of really all I want. You know, we were hoping, you know, it'd get picked up, you know, by a big TV platform. You know, because I think it's a fight that definitely, you know, deserved that. You know, and but it hasn't. And the main thing is, again, that's out of my control. You know, so I just focus on what I control. And that's just no matter where it is, no matter what ring it's on or what TV platform, you know, just getting in and winning this fight, and just being the best version of myself possible, you know, and that's all I'm focusing on.
No, 100%. And I think, to be fair, some of the bigger promoters with TV deals might regret not picking it up, to be fair, because, you know, it's quite rare you see a sort of smaller hall show get such a buzz and that when you look about it in the comments off fans online and stuff. So that brings me to our next question. Obviously, people are used to being able to catch you on Fight Zone and stuff. Is it still Fight Zone for this fight, or how do people tune in?
No, it's not. It's not on Fight Zone. There is going to be a broadcaster, as far as I'm aware, and Lee and I think he's going to announce that pretty soon. Yeah. So I think from what I saw when the date got announced, I think Boxing Social are going to show the undercard live. And as far as I'm aware, there is a broadcaster for the main event fights. So that should be, revealed. But if I'm honest, I ain't got a clue. So, I'll be eager to find out, just as much as everyone else.
No, definitely. When we get that news, guys, we'll share that across our social medias there. And then lastly, Tommy, I suppose people are going to want tickets for this one. I know I certainly do, so I'll speak to you about that afterwards. But is it usual procedure, message you directly for tickets, or where do we go for them?
Yeah, I haven't got tickets just yet, but I am taking orders for tickets. So I think the ringside tickets are £100. The unreserved seating is £60, and the standards are £40. So I'll be selling tickets. So if anyone's after any, it'll be a great night of boxing and a great fight, for the main event. So yeah, just message me on Instagram or any social media, and I'll show you some tickets.
No, perfect. Just lastly then, mate, obviously I'll drop all your social media channels in the description here so people know where to find you. Have you got any sponsors that you just want to give a quick shout out to? Obviously, as you said earlier, sort of they've kept you going the last 12 months.
Yeah, do you know what? All my sponsors are brilliant. My long-term sponsors, they help me so much. And like I said, just very, very grateful for to have them. And all through my career, I've been really active, but in spells that I haven't been, like such as the pandemic lockdowns and things. They've all stuck by me. So just a massive shout out to them. I've got, just because I don't want to miss any of them out, they're all on backer here. So you've got Clearing Stock Supplies, you've got Workshop Timber, New Gen, you've got Mark Walker Logistics, LB Sports Therapy, Bark Ellen, Innovation Alloys, Gary Siddon Civil Engineering, and Nick Firth Tyons. So they're my sponsors. So just a massive thank you to them. I couldn't do what I do without them, and train full time. So thank you.
No, brilliant. Right, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, message Tommy for your tickets, because I promise you, we've been and watched Tommy fight. This isn't one to be missed. This is a special fight, and it'll be a special night at your call. So get involved with it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us again, Tommy.
Nice one, Josh. Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon, mate.